Welcome. So I'm gonna just give it a minute. I ain't got no music playing in the background. Hey, Miss Oliver, thank you for joining tonight. Oh, I know, like I normally try to give like notice early in the day that I'm going live, but this happens to be one of those spur of the moment joints. So we're here tonight. So thank you for joining tonight. I know you would say, Karen, hey, I don't know if I could call you that yet, but I love you. I love you. And I'm so glad that you're joining me tonight. So thank you. Tonight, like I said, I don't know where this live is going. Hey, Adrian, thank you for joining. I don't know where this live is going. I know what's on my heart, and I never go live unless I have something to say. That's just it. I'm not going to sit here and hold nobody. I don't think y'all owe me that much of your time to hold anybody and not do anything. So I'm grateful that you're here tonight with me as we share this time. Very, like I said, very impromptu. This is the hardest time for you. And Karen, I'm telling you, this is why I'm doing this. I know, I know this season, and I see some survivor moms on here. You know, I have Karen Oliver on. I have Adrian Denby coming on, and Delroy, thank you for joining. And I know this is why it was pulled on my heart to do this tonight. And so I'm glad. I'm glad that I am obedient. If nothing else, I am obedient. And so I'm going to follow the spirit and just do what God told me to do tonight. So this live tonight, is from, I posted a few videos. If you guys have been watching my feed at all, let me just address this. Right now, we are in a season where the leaves have already fallen. The temperature is dropping. Everything outside looks dead, right? So you can't help but to be placed into this environment of things dying around you, right? This is the season. It's the winter season, and seasonal depression is real. And so I am opening with that because I know, especially for parents who have lost a child, especially for someone who's just lost someone that they love, that this is a very, very hard season to go into. And just as much as you are all feeling it, I am feeling it as well. I have been in a funk for the past few weeks, and I want to shout out some of my very, very good friends, Delroy being one of them, who always checks in on me to see how I'm doing. And it's crazy because I believe he can feel it through my posts, right? Because he'll always check in to see how I'm doing. And I'm so grateful to him. I'm grateful to Adrian. She's another one. But let me tell you something. Today, I got a call out of the blue from a good friend of mine on here. His name is Carlos Walker. And I always say I'm thankful to God for sending the help that I need when I need it, right? Because sometimes I want to isolate too. Sometimes I want to be by myself. Sometimes I don't want to be in everybody's stuff and posting stuff. And I don't want to, right? Because I am very much missing my child. I'm looking at Sharonda's post and she says, it's hard. This season is hard. Karen Oliver says, and it's not the holidays for me. It's fine. The peace of losing your children, that's what's for. So here's the thing. It's almost as though there is a unspoken kind of rule, right? If you've lost someone and you're around your family members, a lot of people don't want to hear about how sad you are during this time. That's an unspoken thing, right? And I don't know if we're making this up, but it's kind of like what we feel like when we're dealing with grief during the holidays. And for me, going back to the reason why I'm starting this video anyway, I posted a video, and that video kind of went crazy, right? Wasn't expecting it, it just did. But I talked about how I had these intrusive thoughts, right? It's one in particular that I didn't even know lived in me, right? Aaliyah passed away July 2nd, 2023. She was shot and killed at a block party in Baltimore. And I can get into a lot of things just from that statement alone, but I'm going to try to stay on task, right? Because it doesn't matter if you're at a block party in Baltimore or sitting in your house and in the Hollywood Hills or minding your business at a birthday party. We have to address the big problem when we talk about violence, right? So I don't want to get into that because that is a whole other conversation. But I share that with you because some people who are coming on are getting familiar with me and getting to know parts of my story. So I want to bring everybody up to speed. So when I talk about Aaliyah passing away July 2nd of 2023, now I cannot tell you what my first Thanksgiving after Aaliyah passed looked like. I can't tell you because I don't remember. And that's real. That is July, August, September, October, November, 4 months after my baby died. So I cannot remember or recall or recollect how that first Thanksgiving was because I don't remember. It was so much haze and cloudiness and shock that my body just cannot recall what that first Thanksgiving was like. I know I was tremendously sad. I know I was tremendously heartbroken. I know that I still had to keep going on day after day after day, but Aaliyah was not here. So that made all of my days just kind of mash in together. Hey, Myrna, thank you for joining tonight. So I share all that to say, fast forward, this is now the third Thanksgiving without Aaliyah. And I thank God that I'm not where I was on year one. And again, I can't remember year one. Year two was pretty fuzzy as well, just last Thanksgiving. But in leading up to Thanksgiving, I had this crazy funk, and I cannot explain it to you. And I don't want to try to explain it to you because unless you've lost a child, you would not understand what I'm saying. So I think about this thought that came into my mind, knowing that I had nothing to do with the shooting. I know that Aaliyah had nothing to do with the shooting, right? I knew that Aaliyah was out there having a good time with the rest of her friends and things like that. And people who don't know how to conduct themselves took it upon themselves to start shooting, and whoever else out there who had a gun started shooting. So we had all these little cluster shootings in this small confined space. I know all of the facts. Now, the intrusive thought that I'm talking about is one day, still months after, just a couple months after Aaliyah passed away, I'm doing my regular routine, cleaning my bathroom, cleaning up and everything. And I remember I'm down on my knees cleaning my tub. And this thought came into my mind that I had no idea that this was going to happen, but the thought was that I somehow had failed my baby, right? Okay, I just told you, I know all the facts, right? I know what happened. I know I had absolutely nothing to do with the cause of my child's death. And just as quickly as that thought came into my head, I had a whole fit. I knew that was not the truth. I knew that was my mind playing with me. Well, here's the thing. Adrienne is on right now. She says, I feel like losing Ryan has left me feeling empty. And I'm sharing these comments because when I say I felt like I failed my baby, almost every single survivor mom says that they felt the same way. Now, again, we know the facts. We know what happened. And we know that we are not responsible for our child's death, right? But if you have not lost a child, I do not hear me clearly. I do not expect you to understand what I'm saying. Look at that. Sharonda is on here and she's another survivor mom. She felt that way too. And we hadn't even discussed this before. We haven't even talked about this because as a mother who's lost a child, there is a sense of incompleteness and a sense of failure, right? And we are not like our counterparts any longer. The moms who have their families whole and intact is not the same, right? So that's the sense of failure. I know I could have never failed Aaliyah. I did everything I could for Aaliyah. When I tell you my children did not have my life because I sacrificed so much to give them more than what I've had, right? So I know I didn't fail her because I know the facts. The fact of the matter that she is not still here and living felt like I failed her. And again, unless you've lost a child, I don't expect you to understand what that's like. I am so grateful to the community that we have and the support that we have. And I thank you guys for your heart and your love and your generosity. But I'm sharing this because I never want anybody to walk this road with me. And I'm thankful for my sisters who are on here, my sister moms who have lost a child who are on here. And I want to make sure that they are seen and heard. But when I think about this, and we have to always think about these intrusive thoughts, right? So have you ever felt like there was a thought that came into your mind that you you couldn't shake, you couldn't get rid of, you didn't even know it was there? Is that you? Have you ever had a thought like that come into your mind after you lost a child? Or it doesn't necessarily have to be your experience of losing a child. But if you've had something that creeps up in you and you know that that is a lie, a bold-faced lie, let me know in the comments. Because for me, when I think about that night, again, if you don't know, yes, I'm sure you have had these thoughts. The holidays are rough. The holidays are rough. Myrna, I understand. Yes. Is it LaShawn? She just shared that she wanted to take herself out. And I can't say that I don't understand, because I do. Because here's the reality. As a mom who's lost a child, we don't want to harm ourselves, but we want to be with them too. Adrian just said it. As soon as I left my mouth, Adrian is typing, and Adrian said I wanted to go with him. You see, these are things as a mother, and it's interesting, I don't have any dads on right now, survivor dads, but as a mother, there's nothing that we wouldn't do for our children. Absolutely nothing. And the fact that this is our reality and this happened to them, and there's nothing that we can do to change it. Ooh, that is a hard pill to swallow. There's nothing you can do to change it. You just have to accept the fact that they're gone and they've crossed over, or they transition, and whatever term you want to use. What other terms can you use? Some people say they transition. If you lost your child to gun violence, some people might even say they were taken from us, right? I can't say Aaliyah passed away, because it's not like she just passed away. Somebody took her from me. You get what I'm saying? So there's so many different ways that we can describe our experiences. And like I said before, I know the facts. I know I couldn't have failed her. I know all of that. But as a mom who has lost a child, this is something that it just happens to live with you. It does. It really does. And so I'll share this video with you. I don't know if I ever shared this on my Instagram before, but if you ever have heard me speak at any events, you probably have heard this before, because I think about when I lost Aaliyah and I was trying to identify who I was. How was I supposed to live without her? What do you mean life continues and how am I supposed to live without her, right? And then I remembered it was a time where my husband and I were on vacation, and we were watching some Discovery Channel. I'll just say that. And it happened to have a story of a lioness and her three cubs, right? So if you know anything about the animal kingdom, the lion kingdom, if you know anything about that, then you know whenever a rogue lion sees a lioness and her cubs and he wants to mate with that lioness, he oftentimes he will kill off the offspring of another lion's cubs, right? So here's this lioness, and she has 3 cubs, and they're going across minding their business, as usual. And there's a rogue lion who sees this lioness, and he attacks the cubs. And so there's a scene where you see this lioness fighting ferociously to protect her babies. I mean, she is fighting so hard. She's got blood dripping down her face. She lost a tooth. Like, she's going at this lion to protect her baby. And lo and behold, the lioness, she overtook that lion, and he kind of like receded. He went about his business, but the damage was already done. So you see this lioness walking over to this cub that lion attacked, and this cub is now dead. The cub is laying there. You see the surviving cubs, I would say the brothers or sisters, whatever, going over to their sibling, and they're kind of like pushing him, trying to get him to get up, and he's not getting up. But you see mom, who has this blood dripping down her mouth. She's missing a tooth. You could even see a tear coming out of her eye. And that mom, you could hear her let out this wail. And I heard that wail before because it left my body. And any other mother who has lost a child has heard that cry before, and you can understand that cry, right? But see, this happened 2 years before I lost Aaliyah, but I had to recollect on what I saw, because in that moment, that mother lost a cub. And as hard as she fought, there was nothing she could do to get her baby back up. So even in the animal kingdom, we saw this mother, this lioness, mourning the death of her baby. And the mother laid down with her baby for some time and other surviving cubs. And after a while, she picked up her and her surviving cubs, and he had to keep going. And what I got from that was, no matter what, you have to continue to survive this thing. And it's so crazy because that happened 2 years before I lost my cub. And I had to relate to that. I still have surviving cubs that I need to live for. I still have to go on and survive, but nobody told me how. And so even in this season, as I'm leading up towards the holidays, I'm still feeling that loss, right? Because I get to watch my other children grow and mature. And for Aaliyah, she's always going to be frozen at 18. Why am I sharing this video, this message tonight? Because again, sometimes we have those thoughts that come into our minds, and it is really up to us to always try to protect ourselves and be in the present, because no one can understand what it is that you're going through. No one can understand. I always say, unless you're another mother who's lost a child, then you get it. You get it. But even with that, the experience is different. So I said all this to say, your mind is going to try to play games with you, because it's trying to make sense of the fact that your loved one is not with you anymore. It's trying to calculate how you're supposed to move through this, right? I think when it comes to the holidays and when it comes to grief, I always say, I want to make sure that I create a space for people to be seen and heard. And I'm telling you, the community that we have with the survivor moms is like nothing you've ever seen. I never wish to sit in sorrow and grief, but when we come together, it is something magical. And I want to make sure that I open up this space for anybody who wants to join me on a live. You absolutely can. I'll leave that open for everybody. This Thursday night, December 4th at 7 p.m. I'm going to be hosting our second session for grief during the holidays. For anybody who has lost a parent, a spouse, a child, a pet, a loved one, anybody who is struggling with loss during this season, I want to make sure that I invite you to join us for our grief during the holiday session. You will find the link in my bio. If you are interested, go ahead and register for that. I hope this message reached somebody tonight. We don't want to sit in the funk, but it's there. We can't deny that it's there, and we can't pretend that it's not there. So the best thing that we can do is recognize it and move through it together. So I thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. I don't want to keep you too long. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful holiday. And again, if you need support, if you are struggling at all with any kind of loss, you can sign up for one or all 4 sessions, and it's free. It's totally free. All you have to do is log on. I tell people this all the time. If you got a message or email from me, then you know you don't have to have your camera on. You don't have to have your microphone on. If you choose to share or not, that's on you. Whatever it is that you wish to do, we want to make sure that we support you in your decision. So come on. Maybe you'll hear something that can help you during your season. Maybe somebody can offer strategies or things that they've done, throughout the years to survive a loss. So that is all for tonight. I hope you guys have a fantastic evening, and I will see you all very soon. Good night.